So 13th century clothing. Let's talk about different outfits. Right now, I'm wearing the sort of combo that you would see for somebody sitting down to dinner. I wouldn't necessarily be an upper class person, just an ordinary person. This is the sort of outfit for a reasonably formal occasion. You have a cloak. This is a fundamental part of being well, nicely dressed. You have the veil on for women, also a part of being nicely dressed. Gents, they might just have their hair uncovered. That's actually not uncommon. So here we go, all dressed up for an occasion. Now, if we were looking at somebody who was at a much fancier level of society, the different things that you would see on that person is you might see that they are wearing a fancier fancier fabrics, or even possibly fabrics with little decorative motifs scattered all over them. That is a thing you see a little bit for the very, very upper class. Particularly later in the century, you might see them wearing a surcoat, and perhaps you might even have a few buttons at the collar. For women, you would see them wearing their hair in a barbette and fillet arrangement, especially if that was a younger woman. That's a style that very much says upper class. But going back to this ordinary sort of person, I am wearing a belt that's a bit too fancy for an ordinary sort of person. It's got a lot of bling on it. And, you know, the belt pouches as well are a place to display conspicuous consumption. The surviving 13th century belt pouches that we have are heavily embroidered, beautifully, wonderfully embroidered. My suspicion is that there was a sliding scale of fanciness, and the ones that survived are the ones that were the most fancy. And while decorated pouches were definitely preferred, how decorated and whether you used, you know, just scraps of a nice fabric, whether you did a little bit of embroidery on it, whether you even maybe painted it or sewed on some beads or something, that's probably going to vary a lot by what sort of stuff you had available and how wealthy you were. But let's say that I'm an ordinary sort of person, being a little bit less formal. So let's take off the cloak. And as you can see, this is fastened with a cord. And I could just pull it off over my head. But the cord fastening means that it's stays on really well. And even when it's unfastened, it does stay on reasonably well. And unfastened, I can do a lot of things with it. We do see pictures of people sort of wrapping it around them in various ways. Occasionally up over their head. So, a little bit less fancily dressed, but let's say I'm working today. Let's say I am, I've got tasks to do. Maybe I'm a servant. In that case, you would often see just the beginner cap, because really it's just about being practical. And on both servants and upper class people, you would see dresses made with the side slit. This one isn't. I do have one that is. And so sometimes when they're working, people would tie their sleeves behind them, just to keep them out of the way. Now, if I was working out in the fields, if I was outdoors, I'd probably want a hood. You can see that this hood is made with a really short cape. That's actually not atypical, because this hood isn't actually to keep me warm, this one in particular. I would wear this hood even in summer, and wearing this hood in summer, I'd wear it like that. Really, what this hood is doing is it's providing a little bit of protection around my neck, just from the weather. That's what it's doing. So there you go. There's my transformation from at a fancy dinner to working in the fields. And of course, if you're working in the fields, there's one other change you need to make, which is you need to take your floor-length skirt and make it shorter so that it's not getting in your way. And this is how they did that. I can And so blouse it up. It's not super flattering, but it doesn't matter because my skirt is now ankle length. Much more convenient.